to do today. Hi, friends. It's 10 to 10, all tied up. 16 to 13, 18 to 13, 20 to 15, 22, 26, 26 to 16, 30 to 19. You decide. I'm going to wear whatever you pick this morning, folks. 33 to 21. Good morning, friends, and I love you too. 37 to 23, 38 to 24, 40 to 24, 41 to 25. Have you ever heard Sandy's ghost story? Would you like to hear Sandy's ghost story this morning? 43 to 23. I made a promise a long time ago that if I had more than 20 people online, I would tell my ghost story. Have you ever heard my ghost story? Would you like me to tell you my ghost story? It's 46 to 29. If I start telling my story, I want you to tell all your friends to come on over. You have to invite your friends if I tell my ghost story. 49 to 29, 49 to 31, 49 to 33, 50, 49 to 31, 50 to 31, 82 people have voted. And that goes here. Would you like to hear my ghost story this morning? Sandy's ghost story. It's on my profile page. I tell the story at St. Augustine Pride. The story of my name. How did I get the name Sandy Alice is the question. Why did I pick that name is the question. This is the story of my life. Okay? So I'm not going to answer questions here. And this is my story. And I'll go with this. All right? A long time ago, I was 285 pounds. I was diagnosed with diabetes, high blood pressure, and lost my gallbladder all in the same month. I ended up in the hospital for more than a month, or almost a month, okay. And while I was there, I shouted out, I want to live. And my higher power heard me. And what they heard is, I want to live my best life. When I got out of the hospital, and I was in that little gray area between 6 and 7 where you don't have to take insulin, but you are diabetic, and I went on a low-fat, low-sugar, low-salt diet, stayed with my sister Sue for a month and a half, lost 40 pounds, and have never had to take insulin. But I went on a search because there was something missing in my life. And I went on the internet, and I went onto YouTube, and I started doing these search engines and looking for things. And I learned how to square breathe. And I fell in love with a couple people that taught me how to square breathe. And I went from one to the other until I found one that I really trusted. And I did some deep meditations with them. And one of those meditations, okay, was called Svelte. And they said, will you do what I say without me even asking? I said, yes, I will. They said, you're going to exercise for 20 minutes a day. And I've done that since then. And that was 10 years ago, folks. 10 years. I've exercised 20 minutes every day, doing something because I can. Now, another session they had was called Mirror, Mirror. And I had no idea what this was about. But I was fasting and celibate at the same time when I went into this session. I had turned off the social media for more than 2 years and didn't listen to news or radio, watched only movies on the TV, and shut off the garbage of the world. And I looked deep into my own soul, because in this, they pulled me into a mirror and they turned me into a woman. And at that moment, they pulled me into that mirror. I looked deep into my own soul and I realized, oh my gosh, my spirit and soul are both female. Then my inner child that I've always loved and respected, it's a girl. Then that little person was taking a square peg and trying to put it into a round hole that never fit. All of a sudden, by just changing a little bit, boom, it fit, chakalaka, boom. I saw all the things my higher power had done to bring me to this one point where I could realize who I was. I saw my future running out in front of me like a little stone falling in water and ripples going in all directions. I saw it clearly. And I dedicated myself to be the very best woman I can be. Now, the person that had that session to help me open my eyes, they didn't have anything about being a girl. That was the only session they had, only thing they talked about. Now, I knew some other people that I loved and respected, went back and listened to them, and I fed my female soul. There was one person in Florida who had this little thing called Power of the Name. And it's a little guided meditation that takes you from your male to your female name. And you have to give them both. For the first time ever, I thought, what should my female name be? I said, the very first person I ever had a crush on, their name was Sandy. We both went to school. I was 14, they were 14. They lived, on the other side of the tracks, and I lived over here. They lived over there. No, I never had a date. I never had sex. I never even talked to them. But I remember them, and they are my first crush. I thought another minute. I said, you know what? The only person I've ever asked to marry me in my life, that's another Sandy. I was in the Jesus Marines, okay? I was in a very, very weird, wild, crazy Christian group, and you didn't even date unless you plan on getting married. And there was this one person. I was 18, they were 24, 6 years older. They were a nurse. I asked them, their name was Sandy. When they prayed, the heavens opened. I loved their soul, their spirit, and their body wasn't bad. And they were a nurse. I asked them, would you marry me? And of course, they laughed and said no. I never went on a date, never got married, never had sex with them. Got a couple hugs. I got a couple hugs at the church thing, but still, their name was Sandy. And for that reason, I chose the name Sandy. I chose it, Sandy, because of two unrequited loves. As soon as I did, I called my little sister, Cindy. Hey, say, guess what, Sandy? You got a new sister. It's me, Sandy. And my little sister said, I love you, I support you, but don't tell mom and dad. They'll never understand. A week later, I called my big sister, Sue. I said, Sue, guess what? You got a new sister. It's me, Sandy. She goes, Sandy, I love you, I support you, but don't tell mom and dad. They will never understand. So I didn't. And then my sister Sue went down to Florida and brought up some jewelry that my mom made, and she gave some to me, and I wore my mom's jewelry. I told my friends at work I'm Sandy, told my friends I'm Sandy. I changed my email address to Dandelion Girl 1957 because I am Sandy, and I love dandelions, and I'm a girl. Eventually, my brother saw it. I was talking with my brother. My brother goes, who's that Sandy on the internet? Is that Cindy? Did she change her name? I said, no, that's me. My brother goes, don't expect me to like it, but I always knew there was something different about you. What? Yeah. By the way, that's my brother taking it with love. Didn't beat me up, didn't tear me up, didn't put me down. That's my brother taking it with love. And when I visited my brother in Aiken, South Carolina, when I went down to see my mom, my brother took me to all the little shops in Aiken and said, this is my sister Sandy from Cleveland, over and over. My brother loves and supports me. Well, my brother's gone now, but I still feel his love and support for me. Now, when my brother accepted me, and I did want to change my name legally, I knew I had to tell my mom. And my sister said, don't tell mom and dad because they won't understand. But I had to tell them because I wanted to change my name. So I called my mom and said, Mom, I'm your daughter. I'm a girl. And what was the first thing out of my mom's mouth? I always knew there was something different about you. Mothers know these things. Mom, I was 51 before I figured anything out. No, I didn't know I was gay. No, I didn't know I was lesbian. No, I didn't feel right in my body my whole life until that moment. I didn't know who I was or where I fit in. But my mom knew. My mom knew. Oh, Ma. And my dad now calls me one of his 3 daughters. And my mom calls me her adopted daughter. And my sister Sue says, Sandy, you look better as a girl than you ever did as a guy. And my little sister lives 25 feet away, and she's now my big sister because she's been a girl longer than me. But where's the ghost in the story? You say, well, on October 26, 2017, I legally changed my name to Sandy, but I had to pick a last name. So I picked the name Alice because that's my grandmother's name. Now, I chose that name to honor every woman in the world and my family line because my family, the women in my family, are filled with love, peace, joy, and kindness and creativity. That's my sisters. That's my family. So I chose the name Sandy Alice, honoring every woman in the world by taking my grandmother's first name. But then a month and a half after I changed my name, I was talking with my mom, and this gets spooky. My mom said, did you know that your grandmother, Alice, actually had 10 kids, not 9? One of them only lived 3.5 hours, and their name was Sandra Ann. I picked my name for my reasons. The universe picked it for another. Now, when I was at my great niece's birth, Quinn Felicity, I felt peace and joy, those 2 words pouring into her. I realized the amount of positive energy that's released with the birth of a child. And I can get a little bit of that. I'm the happiest girl in the world. Now, I'll tell you, when I went to Darla Fox and rocked that one ray in a bridesmaid and a wedding dress, being her model, I felt my aunt there with me. When I was at my very first prom as a chaperone for the Queer-esque prom at the Near West Center in Cleveland, I felt her there with me. When I went on a roller coaster ride in Six Flags New England, first time as a girl, I felt her there with me. When I told my psychologist my biggest regret in life is that I never gave birth to a child. It makes more sense now, doesn't it? That you know my ghost story? And that's my story. So now when I tell you I'm a girl, and I tell you my spirit and soul are female, you understand now a little more about me.
Hey there. How are you?
I'm doing well today. I'm just winding down from getting my makeup done,
I
and
love it. You look
this
good.
is my makeup, dear.
I love
I
it.
know my friends love you, and you are in Orlando.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, my dear.